Good morning, it's Kinninigan. Please share, like, subscribe. If you could support my channel, I'd appreciate it. I never reached my goal of getting to $33 yesterday, so I can buy some marijuana so I don't have to be on the fucking YouTube news feed all day. However, I'm going to give you, I don't like just complaining about things. There's too many people on YouTube right now just complaining about things, and I like to solve problems. So I'm going to give you an inspirational historical fact here that comes out of Atlantis, dealing with reptilians. And if you're not pissed off by this list of 33-degree Freemason that I published yesterday, first of all, in my defense, I don't think any other YouTube content creator is going to show you this type of list. Half of them are afraid to even mention secret societies, and the other half don't even realize fucking secret societies exist. Like, what are we doing here? Because when you find out the truth of everyone who's in secret societies, you're going to have a totally different view of the world. Considering the fact that the leaders of Iran and Israel are both Freemason. Considering the fact that when you go through this list, you find out that top Nazi officers are Freemason and 33-degree Freemason. Like von Braun, he was the founder of NASA. We were told, oh, they came over in Operation Paperclip. I told you for years, Operation Paperclip was not what you heard. All the people they brought over after World War II, they were members of secret societies, and I've been proven right again. Yeah, who's the conspiracy theorist now? Every modern war that we've been engaged in has been instigated by Freemason on both sides. Meanwhile, us, the uninitiated, the profane, the goyim, we're the ones dying in the fucking battlefields every day. They don't give a shit. This is all blood sacrifices to usher in the Antichrist, period. I'm not going to sugarcoat shit with this. Considering the fact that not only Nazis, but Yasser Arafat and Saddam Hussein are both also 33-degree Freemason. You need to think about the gravity of that and everything you've been taught about the Zionist and fucking Israel. Yeah, who really started Hamas? Who really started ISIS? Who started Al Qaeda? Yeah, it should get you angry. Joseph Stalin. We were told for years that Russia was our enemy, that we were in a Cold War with Russia. When I find out all the Soviet Russian leaders were fucking 33-degree Freemason. So here's the other thing. What do we need Freemason for? You can't broker peace deals between countries with Masonic lodges in it? What do we need you for? Anyway, please share, like, subscribe. Yes, I'm trying to get to $33. I'm not joking about that. Because after the PayPal fee, if I ask for what I exactly needed, there's always like a dollar fee at PayPal. So I'll just say 33. Why not? So with the upcoming midterm elections, we noticed that there are some people that are trying to make politicians who take money from APEC being exposed. Well, I got a better idea. All right, screw APEC. Here's my solution. Let me tell you a metaphorical story about Atlantis. In Atlantis, the Atlanteans did not practice blood magic. They were not pagans. They did not engage in animal and human sacrifice. They were an enlightened civilization. They were infiltrated by reptilians. And how this infiltration started, according to the Emerald Tablets, is when some Atlanteans started practicing blood magic. Now, why do people turn to blood magic? Typically, in the occult, the reason people turn to the occult is for money, sex, and power. I have to ask for donations on my YouTube channel for a few reasons. One, I can't monetize these videos. Do you understand the gravity of the content I've been showing you with these past few videos? Yeah, I'm not Google AdSense friendly. Because that's how Lucifer starts to own you, going back to APEC. Yeah, there's a reason why the Rothschild banking was set up in the first place. Because it's the only way they can keep a rule over the planet with Luciferian money. So, in Atlantis, Some of the Atlanteans started practicing blood magic, which allowed Alpha Draconian reptilians to start infiltrating that realm. The Alpha Draconians killed those practitioners of blood magic and replaced them because they have the ability to shapeshift. So, to solve this problem, once a year in Atlantis, you had to go in front of the people of Atlantis if you held any position of power. That would be the equivalent of our Congress, House of Representatives, and Senate, and President. And you would have to say the word Kinninigan. Because reptilians cannot hold their human form and say the word Kinninigan. It forces them to shapeshift into their reptilian form. If you shapeshifted into a reptilian, your head was cut off. So, now we're not going to be beheading anyone today. Don't worry about that. But I think the Atlanteans understood that you cannot negotiate with a parasite, that the reptilians had to be exterminated, period. We don't have actually reptilians who are the biggest problems today. Yeah, they are ruling the planet, but they can only rule as much as their human thralls. And there's a reason I'm using thrall. A thrall is not a slave. You can become very wealthy being a thrall for Babylon. Basically, a Rothschild's bitch. We know the deal. So, or you can, side with APEC. Sell your fucking soul for $100,000 at APEC money, right? So, we need another solution. What's that solution? We need to start identifying every U.S. politician who holds positions of power in his country and exposing the ones who are members of secret societies, and it needs to be exposed, period. And women, you're not getting off the hook for this one. We need to know if your husband is a Freemason. Because if he is, there's a very good chance you're an Eastern Star or a member of the Daughters of Isis or the even younger Freemason. You have the Order of Demolay, which deals with junior Masons. That's how they groom children into secret societies. We need to know these things before we vote for your ass. Why? This is going to do a few things. This is going to cut out the anti-Semitic bullshit that they like to preach about, because if you haven't noticed, Israel becomes their scapegoat for everything. Oh, you're anti-Semitic. Although, all the top fucking Nazis were 33-degree Freemason. Explain that one, Israel. Yasser Arafat was a 33-degree Freemason. Saddam Hussein was a... you see where I'm going at with that one. So, we need to identify all politicians who are members of secret societies and expose them, period. Because if you are, you're a pagan. I ain't gonna let them try this anti-Semitic bullshit, this biblical bullshit they tie in with Christian. No, screw all that bullshit. You're either a member of a secret society or not. Now, there's other people dealing with the APEC thing, although that needs to be exposed also. But I think getting to the root of the thing, because my suspicion is everyone who takes money from APEC is a Freemason. Why wouldn't they be? You think they just control these people with money? No. They've taken oaths, and they probably go to Masonic lodges together. Now, if I was president of the United States, they would kill me for it, without a doubt. I don't care, though. I would ban Freemason and all secret societies out of the United States. Every fucking Masonic lodge will get bulldozed and shut down. I would tax the Church of Satan out of existence. And I would do that under the effect of, we need to spend resources looking for children every year that go missing due to your satanic ritual abuse bullshit and child trafficking. So that's why we're taxing the Church of Satan, the Temple of Set, the Satanic Temple. You're all getting taxed out of existence. Yeah, we might have religious freedom in the United States, but you do not have fucking religious freedom to worship Lucifer and declare it a new religion. You do not have religious freedom to be a pagan and engage in child sacrifice at the Bohemian Grove at Epstein Island. And if you are making decisions on behalf of the people of this country They need to know if you're in a secret society, period. So can we start with that? Oh, by the way, I'm not the first person to bring this up in history. The last person that went over this idea of exposing secret societies was John F. Kennedy. And he had his brains blown out on the 33rd parallel in, yeah, 33rd parallel in Dallas, Texas for that. So this is not a subject I take lightly. Um, it would be a good start. Uh, yeah, if we can actually get people to start, we need people to start talking about secret societies more. And once that can of worms opens, it's not going to be shut. And it shouldn't be. And like I said, they're not going to try this anti-Semitic bullshit. In fact, I don't even think that's working as much as they want it to anymore because everyone's fucking anti-Semitic. Go screw yourselves, all right? This is bigger than Israel. Netanyahu's a 33-degree Freemason. There are Masonic lodges in Iran. They're all throughout the Middle East. I have a feeling that a lot of the Arab state leaders are Freemason, including the Saudi royal family controlling Mecca, the United Arab Emirates, and I got I think there's Masonic lodges in all these fucking countries. That would be the next step. After we get rid of Freemasonry in the United States, we stop dealing with any country who has Masonic lodges in its borders, period. We don't deal with Luciferians. We don't deal with people who worship reptilians. We don't deal with children, people who abuse children. The pedophilia is even worse than you might imagine because, in a screwed up way, Babylonian Talmud does not even condone pedophilia on the level they were doing it at Epstein Island. I got a suspicion that a lot of these soulless Zionist pieces of shit are in spiritual limbo right now because of that. They abandoned their oath to the Antichrist and they abandoned anything pertaining to Jesus. This is why a lot of shit is falling apart for them right now. And if you don't believe me, yeah, that's actually, and they weren't supposed to be engaging in pedophilia with children over 3 years old, according to Babylonian Talmud. Most of the victims at Epstein Island were over 3 years old. I'm starting to sense that a lot of these upper echelon Zionists, they're wiping their ass with Luciferian doctrine and Christian doctrine. And don't worry, there's a hell worse for them that's waiting for them. It's called Tartarus. There are, yeah, and they think it's a joke. I'll tell you one thing: they're not exporting powerful black magicians. Not that I'm saying. So they do have big problems there. They haven't found their 72 syllable lost word of God to usher in the Antichrist. Um, they're trying to force Armageddon, which I don't think it can be forced. Um, and their whole idea is we're going to usher in the Antichrist so Jesus finally comes. Like I said, that would be like burning down your house so you can meet a fireman. Like, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're burning down the entire Middle East to usher in the Antichrist. What a bunch of fucking losers. So if you are a Freemason and you want to hold positions of power in our government, and your job is to play ride the goat, go to Epstein Island, and usher in the Antichrist, the American taxpayers need to fucking know this. Once we start identifying members, I don't give a fuck. We should put armbands around them with squares and compasses like they did to the fucking Jews in World War II. Or we tattoo a square and compass on your forehead. I don't care anymore. Now, for me, when I'm in a group of people, I can usually pick the Freemason out. You get a bad feeling about these people. Yeah. But I'm telling you, don't trust anyone in government. This also pertains to black people because they can be black, Prince Hall, Freemason, Latinos, same thing. The women in government, don't trust them either. Some of the women in government aren't even women, they're transgenders. They can't even be black magicians if you're a transgender. You cannot become a magician, period. So the Antichrist has no use for you except depopulation. You're not having children. And you probably have to engage in anal sex. And that's sodomy. Going back to Sodom and Gomorrah, that is Antichrist culture. So what do you think? Do we need to start identifying members of secret societies holding political power in our country? I think so. Anyway, if you could support the channel, yes, I'm trying to raise $33 so I can get some marijuana today. If not, I'll just be grumpy all day, and I don't want to do that. I was grumpy yesterday. I always get try not to get myself in trouble, but I can't ignore this anymore. And I don't want to just sit here bitching about what's going on in the world. I want to find solutions, and that's what I'm doing. Reptilians do what they do because it's in their blood. They're blood sucking parasites, period. They're vampire parasites. I have a bigger problem with the humans who choose to serve them. For what? So you can usher in the reptilian antichrist? Yeah. Talking about having good life goals, right? Yeah, and there goes a reptilian symbolism right there with 33, right on the thumbnail image of my video from yesterday. So what do you think? Do we need to start? And this is members of all secret societies. I don't care. I don't know why you find that video funny, but whatever. Sometimes laughter is a way to deal with trauma, so I've been there. I'm sorry, I'm in a bitchy mood right now. That's probably why I'm not laughing. La Cosa Nostra. I'm not even joking about that. Yeah, yeah, there is a Jewish mafia. If you know anything about the founding of the mafia within the United States itself, the five families, there were Jews, Zionist Jews involved with that. Like Saul Alinsky, I think is the one. I've watched quite a few documentaries on the mafia. Yeah, there are Jews involved. Remember, in The Sopranos, Tony Soprano had a Jewish friend named Hesh, who became very wealthy by ripping off black R&B musicians during the Motown era. And that's actually true. Zionist Jews did steal revenue from a lot of black artists, blues musicians, R&B artists, even white artists. That was true. Yeah, La Cosa Nostra. It's like the Italian mafia, except they get funded by the United States and they engage in pedophilia, which Italians do not do. It's one respect that I have for La Cosa Nostra. Italy isn't trying to be a welfare state of the United States of America. So, what do you think? Do we need to? And when I'm talking about identifying members of secret societies, it's not just the Freemason. It's the Knights of Malta, the Knights of Columbus, the Elk Club. Yeah, you don't hear me mention the Elk Clubs too much, but yeah, they are a fraternity, quote, secret society. Obviously, the Freemason, Knights of Columbus, Prince Hall Freemason, Eastern Stars, Daughters of Isis. Then you have the side orders like the Knights Templars, the Shriners, the Order of Quetzalcoatl. The Fraternal Order of Police is a secret society. Their logo is a pentagram. I'm not saying all cops are bad, but the FOP is listed as a secret society from a website where I get all this information from with the list of all the secret societies in the world, and there's a shitload of them. But the most prominent ones, yeah, are the Freemason, obviously. Um, you have even more secret societies in England. Oh, there's a lot in England. Order of the Garter, the Druids. All right, I think I got all my. So, what do you think? We need to start identifying politicians who are members of secret societies. Now, why? Why? Because if you were a member of a fucking street gang, like you were a Blood or a Crip, and you went to run for political office, you don't think Zionist pieces of shit are going to dig up your history and use that against you? They do it all the time. One of the ways they crucified Jesus in ancient times, according to the Pharisees, is they used gossip against him. Zionists are the biggest group of gossiping bitches on this planet. You don't agree with what they want to do. They're fucking psychopathic murdering sprees like they're doing in Iran. Oh, you're anti-Semitic. You're this. You're that. Yeah. Well, let's cut all the bullshit out. We need to just start IDing members of secret societies, and we go from there. But don't worry, we're not going to cut your heads off like they did in Atlantis. No, we're a little more civilized than that. Well, I wouldn't even, in the Atlanteans' defense, they killed the reptilians, which they should have done, because they're not good for anyone. Anyway, if you could support the channel, anything would help. Um, yeah, I think I got all the comments started here. King Nebuchadnezzar was not turned into a werewolf. He was turned into an eagle, because I made videos about Nebuchadnezzar and his quote-unquote reptilian nature. Nebuchadnezzar had a dream where he turned into an eagle, which is the Alpha Draconian symbol for reptilians. I've made videos about Nebuchadnezzar before. I'll get them re-uploaded to YouTube, or I'll do another lecture about him. Yeah, he was another one that had a very quote-unquote reptilian dream about himself. You know what? You know what else I fear? I'm always begging for donations on my channel. You would think that maybe eventually, like, the Zionists would like hook me up with some fucking money in my PayPal account just to like shut my mouth for a while, but they won't. They're too fucking greedy. God forbid you threw like $30 in Kenny's PayPal account so he didn't make fucking videos exposing your secret societies. Although you have no problem paying people $7,000 a video to make pro-Israeli videos. This is why also I've had it with these people. They're so fucking cheap and arrogant and narcissism. Yeah, it's been the downfall of all tyrants. There's other things. I can't verify if they're true or not because I understand how the military works. We're hearing rumors now that there is dissent within our own military, where some troops are refusing to take orders. We had the incident with the aircraft carrier, the Gerald Ford, having to go back to Crete because the toilets were clogged. And ultimately, the idea in the military is we don't want to fight Israel's wars anymore. But I'm telling you right now, don't fall for that trope. No, you need to start saying we're not fighting Freemason wars anymore. We're not fighting wars for secret societies anymore. Because once you mention Israel, they're going to call you a Nazi and try the anti-Semitic bullshit with you. So cut all that bullshit out and just say we're not fighting Freemason wars anymore, period. And if you Freemason cannot broker a peace deal between two countries with Masonic lodges in it, what the fuck do we need you for? And if you are a Freemason, you need to let us know before we vote for you. Or if you're a member of the Knights of Columbus, or a Jesuit, Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, Temple of Set, the Satanic Temple, the Church of Satan. Yeah, once you start exposing these people, you know what's ironic with the way that works? In exorcisms, the way you deal with demons is by getting them to admit their name. So, kind of in an ironic way to parallel that, once we get humans to start admitting to which secret societies they're joined to, the power structure starts to crumble. And their trust is going to go through the fucking window. Learn the truth. Everything you were taught about American history, the Civil War, World War II, World War I, Vietnam, Korea, Afghanistan, Iraq, it's all been bullshit. And they've been wars orchestrated by Freemason, period. So I'd say the biggest threat to human civilization where we stand in 2026 are secret societies, period. If we can get rid of secret societies, the Alpha Draconians will not have any more power over our planet anymore. Because they're parasites. How do you get rid of a parasite? Well, you anyway, if you could support all the channel, all the links are in the description. I have Cash App, PayPal, Vemno, or you can sign up to my Patreon or locals. Any questions or comments, leave them below. God bless and take care.